As a young girl growing up in a farm community between Indianapolis and Cincinnati, I could have never imagined that I would be jumping out of the air or jumping out of planes or chasing the world. But I should have expected that because I was always the maverick, the middle kid of 7 siblings, and I was always getting into things and always looking for something else to do. I, I loved school. I went 12 years in one little building. You know, you went upstairs, you went to high school. And but I held all the offices that they had to hold many times. Because again, in a small school, if you just raised your hand, you got the job. So, you know. And I qualified, though, for 2 scholarships at college, but we never had any money to go. So I didn't do anything about that. And during the war years, I was a teenager, and I learned that women could do any kind of jobs that the men had, sometimes better. So my sister and I thought we'd go to several states and try this out. And we did. We worked in sawmills, we worked in factories, we worked in restaurants, and all kinds of, laundries, many, many. But after 6 states and 3 trips to California, we said, oh, let's forget about that. We're through with that. My mother was very happy because she thought we were going to turn out to be bums. You know. On my last trip to California, I met that dear guy up there, and we were married, and I was only 20 years old at that time. We settled in Fullerton, California, Orange County, and we started flipping houses. I got a job at Knott's Berry Farm and also started in the community college. And I couldn't make up my mind what I wanted to do, and that was my 20 years of college education because I changed majors 4 times. I took took photography. I took travel. I took a hospitality venue, and I also took cosmetology. And I got a teacher's license, and I taught cosmetology in the college. And I had 4 beauty salons. And then I transferred to the college at Cal State that was right next to to the community college. And I took business with the emphasis on real estate, and I became a broker and, of course, a salesperson. But the most exciting things and the most experiences that I had that were fun, it's when I started the Friendship Force International. It is an organization that started with the Carters and also sponsored by them, President Carter. And it was to promote cultural friendships through homestay exchanges for the people in the foreign countries. And but with their sponsorship, you're allowed to go so many places and do so many things that the tourists can't do. And we were allowed to go into the DMC in North Korea with the press. We saw many of Hitler's hangouts down in the salt mines where they had their factories and really interesting things. We went through the Checkpoint Charlie into Eastern Germany on a tour, and then saw a lot of the communist countries also. It's a caravan trip that we went, and we left from the House of Parliament in London, and it had 26 motor vehicles, 120 people went, and we also had motorcycle escorts all the way down to Gibraltar. When we got down to Gibraltar, we crossed the Mediterranean Sea on a ferry that Algeria had given us, and it was the worst. You'd never want to step foot in there, but we did have to. It was an overnight trip, and when we got to Algeria, they said, you're not going to drive any farther down into the Sahara because there's too much going on in Algeria, that they were killing people and everything, so we had to take one of their planes. Well, the plane was worse than the ferry, and it was like something out of World War I. And we flew down to the Sahara where the refugees were. There were 200,000 refugees there that had been thrown out of their little countries in Africa for their oil. And we stayed with the Bedouins in tents and ate their food and helped make a school. Well, that was an overwhelming trip, and I'm glad I went, but I'm never going to do that again. Yeah. My husband and I retired to Whidbey Island and bought a bed and breakfast. That was the easiest job I ever had because, well, I like people, I like hosting, and I got to host a lot of people that I had visited the countries and when I was going with the Friendship Force, because I had been to 52 countries and all hosted for 30 years. So I had a lot of friends that came to my bed and breakfast. And I also started another Friendship Force in Whidbey Island, still going on today. And if you want some exciting venture, you want to do something different, join. Yeah. People have asked me why I did get into all these activities and have done everything that I've done in my I'm going on 91 years. And I said, I'm either the nosiest person or the most interested because I like everything I see and I want to do everything. I always wanted to jump out of a plane. Well, my kids gave me my first jump when I was 70 years old, and I've done 3 since. And God willing, I'm going to do another one this summer, my 5th, with my granddaughter from California. And if I don't do that, I'll find something to do. Thank you.